Today we're talking Ben Affleck returning as the Batman. Yet again, the bat is out of the bag. And Chris Rock makes his most direct response to the Oscar slap yet. But is the comedian a victim? Plus, pre-trial court documents have been unsealed, and there's even more shocking allegations between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It's all coming up in your Hollywood headlines. All right, and here to help me break it all down is my man Cassius Morris. Hey Cassius, how's it going?
Matt Demers, it's good to be back.
Well, it's glad to have you back because we got a lot to talk about. We're jumping in right now with some interesting stuff in the world of Batman. I love me some Batman, and one of the actors that played Batman not too long ago, Ben Affleck, well, he's coming back yet again. This comes after the heels of a social media post on Instagram by Jason Momoa saying that Ben Affleck will be in Aquaman 2. He'll be reprising his role as Bruce Wayne, Batman. This because of a tour bus that was touring. Fans in Warner Brothers Studios saw Ben Affleck on set, so they had to make the announcement. It's kind of funny to me, but it is kind of exciting to see that Ben Affleck, because listen, he was known as the sad Batman, right? There was all these memes of him in interviews looking sad in the role, but I always thought he was a great Batman. So what do you make of this? Because we got him back for another movie.
I think it's great. You know, I don't have the hate on Ben Affleck gene that the public seems to have lately. You know, I think Batman is just one of those characters. There's obviously going to be many different people who play it, and you're not going to like, you know, if there's 10 different guys playing a character, you're not going to like them all.
That's right. You're right. But here's what's also interesting. And I want your take on this because Affleck is also going to be, so he's in Aquaman 2. That's just announced. But we already know that he's going to be reprising his role in The Flash movie, which is coming out in 2023. So not till next year. That makes Ben Affleck's Batman the most reoccurring in any movie, more than any other actor that played the role. So now Ben
that's
Affleck,
a big stat. So, I mean, he's earning his keep in the Batman franchise.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at who reprised the role the most, he's king. Who's your favorite though? Like, because right now that's always the debate. So we got Ben Affleck's Batman, we got Michael Keaton, right? The one Adam West, if you want to go back to the TV series,
way back,
the movies in the '60s. Who else we got? Oh, Robert Pattinson. Can't forget about the new Batman.
Of course, Christian Bale.
Oh yeah, of course, Christian Bale. People probably yelling at their screens right now. Val Kilmer did one, and George Clooney, but the less we say about that, the better. Who's your fave? Who's the best Batman? Cassius Morris, your pick is?
Well, I definitely grew up on the George Clooney, but that was only acceptable because I was like 5 years old. So I would say definitely Christian Bale is my favorite Batman, but I would say my favorite Batman, it's a tie between the Dark Knight and the Robert Pattinson one. I got to say, like, Pattinson isn't my favorite Batman, but I think that movie was one of the strongest of the series.
I loved it. I love that movie so much. And I think Pattinson's slowly creeping up. I want to see him again, and they're going to do another Batman. I want to see more of his take because I like what he was doing. But I think you're right. Christian Bale, The Dark Knight, still holds a special place in my heart. My fave of all time, I got to go Michael Keaton.
Okay, yeah, he's a classic. It was a pretty trail.
And you know what? Michael Keaton's coming back too. Speaking of all these other Batmans reprising their roles, Michael Keaton's coming back in The Flash. So we shall see. Season. Especially for Batman.
Right?
Especially for Batman, yeah. If only Adam West was still with us, he'd probably be able to don the cape and cowl one more time. So that's exciting stuff. I just love how fans discovered the secret. Everything's a secret, but not so much. The bat is out of the bag. Hey, let's move on to something else that a lot of people are chatting about, and we can't seem to stop talking about it here on this show, and that is the Oscar slap. Now, the latest revelation, well, there's actually a few, is that Will Smith put out a video apology, right, on his YouTube channel. It's out there. He talked for 6 minutes. He did apologies to Chris, family members of the Rock family, the mom, the brother, Tony, all that stuff. Well, Chris Rock gave his most direct response yet. This coming at a comedy show. And this is what he said. This is interesting to me because he was quoted here, Cassius, is saying, everybody's trying to be the bleeping victim. If everybody claims to be a victim, then nobody will hear the real victims. Even me getting smacked by Suge Smith. I went to work the next day. I got kids. So Chris Rock essentially saying, guys, I'm not a victim. What do you
It's
make
not
of that?
that well. I mean, I like that outlook. You know, Chris Rock, especially he's the resident funny man in most people's lives, and I think that the way he is, this is a good way to do it. I don't think playing the victim and hiding in a corner is the answer. Chris also seen the day after the slap, walking around in public, he went right back on stage. So I actually think, I don't know if you agree, Matt, but I think this is a good way that Chris is handling this so far.
I think it's great. I think right now, and Will Smith's trying his damnedest to to get in the good graces of everybody that may have turned their back on him. And there's also a source that's saying that Chris Rock has moved on, and this is something that's bothering Will Smith more than Chris Rock.
That's how it seems.
I'm still holding out hope that Chris Rock returns to host the Oscars next year. That's actually a legit rumor.
Wow, with co-host Will Smith?
Well, he's been banned. They'd have to lift the ban, but I would watch.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd watch the heck out of that. Before we move on from this, what do you make of Will Smith's apology? Because he essentially said a lot of stuff in that video, if you haven't seen it. But one of them, too, that he was saying is that this isn't Jada's fault. That seemed to be the message he put across, that this was his decision to go up on stage. What do you make of that? Are you buying this? It was a bit of a PR stunt, in my opinion, but I think he seemed genuine.
Yeah, but I'm sure he is genuine. People use the phrase "too little, too late." I think this is too much, too late. I honestly feel like you would have done this in a personal voice memo to the Rock family and have sent them the video. You could have sent them a letter. I don't see necessarily the fit of public, because I don't think it makes him look any better. And especially with it being so long after. If this would have been even 2 weeks after, I think it made a bit more sense. But this seems almost out of the blue now, and like you're saying, Matt, it seems like Chris is, on to bigger, and Will is still sort of in this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact, well, Chris Rock, who's doing a lot of comedy with Kevin Hart, and Dave Chappelle actually showed up at one of their shows, and he actually brought out a goat, like an actual goat.
An actual goat.
To say that Chris Rock was the goat. I love that. And I love all three of those guys. Listen, if you want to laugh, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, are you kidding me? They're fantastic. The Mount Rushmore right there. All right, let's move on to the last thing for us. And hey, speaking of things we can't stop talking about, we're still talking about that Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial that captivated the world. And now, hey, Cassius, if we thought that we saw everything during the trial, we didn't, because now the pre-trial documents are being unsealed. Now we're seeing the stuff that didn't make it to trial. There's actually some pretty crazy stuff coming out of this. There was actually 6,000 pages of documents. So here's some things that are of note that didn't make it in. Unseal some nude photos of Amber Heard into evidence. I think this may have been their way of showing maybe the severity of the injuries that she was saying that she had. Maybe that's where that come in, but we could have had some nude photos out there of Amber Heard.
Wow.
Those didn't make it in. Amber Heard's team wanted to raise a point saying that Johnny Depp had erectile dysfunction and he needed medication for that.
Well, that'll get him. That'll lock him up.
The jury said no, or the judge rather said no. We don't need that in front of the jury. And then of course there was even more text messages. They're saying that there was some more between Marilyn Manson and Johnny Depp.
They keep trying to bring Marilyn Manson into it. From a lawyer perspective, if you have a guy who's on trial for his own craziness and he's deeply connected to the guy you're against, I get him up, but the Marilyn Manson stuff, I feel like there was a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to Depp, where the court, it seemed like a lot of the evidence against Depp seemed to be somewhat around. I felt like there was all this random stuff and it was more of a character assassination than sort of dealing with the task at hand. And that's why I'm not really surprised that he came out victorious in this case, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there was I'm 6,000 pages of documents. I'm sure more stuff will come out of this. We haven't stopped talking about it, and Amber Heard's team is still trying to get the verdict thrown out. And every time they've done that, the motion gets the judge. They're not going for it. So I don't know. I don't think we've seen the end of this. Johnny Depp seems to have moved down somewhat. He's doing lots of music.
He's playing with Jeff Beck. He was out in Europe, and I mean, it's. I love the memes I keep seeing Amber Heard in line for Squid Games. That's the best thing. She's probably going to need it soon because I don't think that's getting overturned.
No, you're right, and that's another headline is that Amber Heard doesn't have the money to pay Johnny Depp after all this. So, yeah, it's not looking good.
She probably regrets. I'm sure that her main feeling right now is probably regret. I think that she really had a good feeling she would win this, and it seems to have blown up in her face. So, justice is served, I guess is what they say.
The court of public opinion has spoken. Amber, you got the L, unfortunately. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this Hollywood Headlines. Thanks so much, Cassius, for joining me.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure.